In this video, we'll be looking at Revit MEP 2009, beginning the model, and presenting spaces and zones. Now that you've modeled the spaces and zones of the building, you can use that to your advantage and help relay the information that is pertinent to your design process in a more graphical format. As you can see in this view, I've turned on a particular subcategory of the zones element to see the color fill representation so that I can identify the zones. But I cannot tell which zone is what in this model. If I go to View Properties and click on the Edit button for Visibility Graphic Overrides, I could turn off this identification feature. You'll notice I did the same thing for spaces, but I cannot distinguish one space from the other. So again, I'll return to View Properties, Visibility Graphic Overrides, and turn off the subcategory of spaces called the Interior Fill Color. What I can use in lieu of those two subcategories is a color scheme legend. But first, let me duplicate my view. I'm going to rename this view to be 1-Mechanical Areas. Each space has its own area in my building model, and I can use a color scheme legend to relay that graphically. Let's see how it works. On the Drafting tab, I'm going to click on the Color Scheme Legend tool. This will put a legend at my cursor, which will allow me to place it anywhere in the view. As you can see, I can select a particular element to color fill. I'm going to select spaces. And the scheme it's going to use is the name scheme. And what this color scheme does is it color fills each space based on its name. All the blue areas in my model view here are office spaces, which are related in legend here. But this information will not help me in my design process. What if I could pull some different information that wouldn't be relevant to my workflow, such as areas? Let's see how we modify the legend to color fill the spaces differently. I'm going to select the legend and then click Edit Color Scheme on the options bar. Here we'll see the Edit Color Scheme dialog, and the category of elements being color filled is the spaces. The scheme I'm using currently is called Names. The title of this legend is called Space Name Legend, and the parameter of the space that I'm color filling is called Name. I'm going to duplicate this color scheme and call it Areas. I'm also going to change the title to Space Area Legend. And finally, the parameter that's being filled, area. Revit MEP will automatically assign colors to each value presented in the model. And when I click OK to exit the dialog, my legend has updated as well as the colors in my model. You'll notice that the office spaces are no longer blue. They're this tannish color. I can also do this with zones. Let's go ahead and duplicate the parent view again. We'll rename the view to zones. I'm going to go add a color scheme legend to this view now and change the space type to HVAC zones. And when I click OK, I'll see each zone is based on a particular color. Zone 1 is this green color, while Zone 3 is this gray color. This helps me immediately identify where the zones of the building are located. Now it's important to know that you can modify the formatting of the legend itself as well. Let's take a look at how we do that. A legend is a system family, so if we select it and click on Element Properties on the options bar, we'll see that the family is a system family, and the type that we're using is type 1. And if I click on Edit New, I can get down to the type parameters and change some of these values to make it more custom. Here are the swatch values. I'm going to change the swatch height to 1/8 and then hit apply. Notice what happens to the legend out in my view. I can also change which values are displayed in the legend. Currently all the values of the model are displayed, but I can filter it down to just the view. Notice what happened on my space and my space area legend. I can also show the title. And if I come down further, I have some additional text formatting options. Let's change the text height for the body text of the legend to 1/8 inch. Let's come down to the title and change that to a little bit larger size, 5/32, and make it bold and underlined. And if I hit apply, I can now appreciate the formatting that I've just taken my legend through. So color fill legends can help us relay information in a more graphical way, which is more beneficial to our design process.